technique becomes very, very easy. This technique is called as two pointers. This technique is called as two pointers. Okay. Now, what is this two pointer technique? What is this two pointer? And it's a technique, you can say. It's a technique. Technique means it's kind of a trick. Okay. So what is the two pointer technique? Two pointer technique, like as the name suggests, like you can read it with respect to the name also, right? That what two pointer like ideally suggest is that, let's say if you have some array related problems, string related problems, linked list, any data structure related problems, what you do is you prepare 2 to 3 variables. You prepare 2 to 3 variables, right? Generally, you will find people naming these variables as I, J, K, left, right, mid, things like these. Okay. Then you place these variables on different parts of the input. Okay. For example, let's say if there's an array, then you can take 2 pointers and place them one at the start of the array, one at the end of the array. Or what you can do is, let's say you have an array, you have 2 pointers, you can place both of them at the start of the array. Or sometimes what you can do is, let's say you have 3 elements. Okay. So you can place the first element at the start, second element at the end, and third element also at the start. Okay. So in different situations, you are going to do something like this, that if you have an array, string, something like this, you'll be preparing 2, 3 variables like I equals to 0, j equals to n minus 1, I equals to 0, j equals to 0, I equals to 0, j equals to 0, k equals to n minus 1. What these variables will do is, these variables will be placed on different ends of the array, sometimes on the absolute different ends, sometimes on the same ends, sometimes few of them on the same end and few of them on the other end, and so on, and so on. Right? And then what you do is, and these variables are only called as pointers. Like when we say the word pointers, 2 pointers, then these variables are referred as the pointers. Okay. And the technique name is just 2 pointers. It's not mandatory that you just take 2 variables. You can take 3 variables or 4 variables as well. Okay. And what happens is you place these variables on different ends and then you try to move them. Okay. While moving them, what happens is, while moving, you try to discard some part. Okay. Some part of the data structure. For example, let's say you start moving these two towards each other. If you start moving these two towards each other, right? Or you start moving these two apart from each other but in the same direction, right? Or you can move these two also in the same direction apart from each other, but you can move k towards them, right? So you will move them in different order. You will move them in different order based on question to question. Okay. But what this movement will do, this movement will keep on discarding some part of the elements. Let's say, for example, if you move them towards each other, you have not discarded, or let's say you have solved or you have resolved this much part of the given array, right? So this is the two pointer technique. Okay. And based on these 2 pointer techniques, a lot of problems are actually solved. A lot of algorithms are there that actually depend on these 2 pointer techniques. Okay. So what we are going to do is, as I mentioned, this is the bare minimum. That what is 2 pointer? In 2 pointers, you take 2, 3 variables, maybe 4 variables. You place them on different ends of the array, and then you try to move them here and there based on question to question. Right. Here we are using 3 pointer, but still the approach is called as 2 pointer because it's kind of like just a name. 2 pointer means some constant number of pointers that you allocate. Of course, don't make 100 pointers, 100 variables, and you are moving those 100 variables here and there. That's not an approach. Generally, 2, 3, max 4 variables is something that you take care about. Okay. So in order to solve this, let's try to solve one question, and based on that question, we will try to understand this 2 pointer approach. Make sense, guys? 12:15 से एक क्लास और है, कब तक चलेगी क्लास? 12:15 से कौन सी क्लास है तुम्हारी? गाइस, सब लाइक which class is from 12:15? कौन सी क्लास है आपकी? अरिन शर्मा, which class? Python. कौन से Python की क्लास है? I am not aware about it. तो I have no instruction कि तुम 12:15 क्लास करोगे. मेरे पास ऐसी कोई इंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं आई है. किसी दूसरे कोर्स किया तो भाई आपको पहले सोचना चाहिए ना कि मतलब कोर्स की क्लासेस क्लैश तो नहीं हो रही. ठीक है? Okay, cool. So let's solve one question here. Very easy question. Okay. Let me bring that question. Push with practice, you will find. Do you remember how did you used to find the approaches of trigonometry? By practice, right? Practice is the key. For whatever question you're asking, only the answer is practice. More practice you do, the better understanding you get. Okay. So let me share the link of the problem in the chat as well. Let's start. So in order to understand 2 pointers, I believe this is a very interesting question to solve. The problem number is 344 coming from LeetCode. Problem is an easy mark problem. Okay. What does the function problem says is that write a function that reverses a string. The input is given as any character, as an array of characters S. Okay. So you can say that you have been given an array of characters. And what you have to do, you have to reverse them. Okay. For example, if you have been given hello, HELLO, you reverse them OLLEH. If you have been given something like Hana or Hannah, then you reverse that and it still remains Hannah. Okay. Just the only difference is the small h comes at the start. Okay. Cool. So let's try to solve this. Okay. Reverse a string. This is problem 344. Reverse a string. Okay. Cool. Now, what the question says is that you have been given an array S. Okay. This is an array that has been given to you. Okay. Inside this array, you will be having different characters. For example, H, E, L, L, O. Okay. And then you have to reverse it. Now, when you reverse it, what will be the output? The output still is an array, but this time O comes at the start, then L, then L, then E, then H. Right? This is the question. Now, again, let's start with the brute force. Okay. Let's start with the brute force solution. Like, first to us, what we can do is, you want to have this in reverse order. Right? You want to have the data of this array in this reverse order, right? Because we want data of array in reverse order, right? What we can do is we can read the array in reverse order. Okay. So what You start reading your array in the reverse order. So you have a variable I and you start reading it in reverse order. Okay. Cool. And one by one, store the data in a new array. One by one, store the data in a new array. So let's see what I'm trying to say. So let's say I'll create a new answer array. One second. I'll create a new answer array. Okay. I'll start a variable I that will read my input array in the reverse order. So I is currently here. It points to O. So what I'll do, I'll push O here. I'll do answer dot push O. Then I move I here. Then I move I here. We are at L. So we will put, or I will say push L. Then I'm here. We will again push L. Then I'm here. We will push E and so on. Can you see? We are reading the array in reverse order and adding the elements one by one and adding the elements one by one. Okay. This looks cool. This looks cool. Okay. And at last you can return this answer array. At last you can return this answer array. So the brute force solution will look something like this. Answer is equals to a new array. And we say for I is equals to last index. We'll start from the last index of the array. N is s dot length. I should be greater than equal to 0. I minus minus. So we will put a reverse loop. We will put a loop in reverse order. And we will say answer dot push s at I. And at last we will return answer. That's it. Can I say that? Okay. So in this solution, what we did, we just started reading our data in the reverse order and pushed every single element in a new array altogether. This is the bare minimum brute force solution that we can actually think about. Are you guys able to understand this brute force solution? अमन अभी पहले प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग पे ध्यान दो. वेरिएबल नेमिंग वगैरह तो मैं धीरे-धीरे पढ़ाऊंगा जब हम लोग डेव स्टार्ट करेंगे तो पढ़ाऊंगा. अभी पहले प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग पे. Guys, do you understand the solution what I'm trying to do here? Do you guys understand the solution? Anyone having any question, please ask. कोई तुम्हारे सामने घर पे पर्सनली नहीं आने वाला है. तुम्हें पूछने के लिए कि कोई डाउट है क्या? I am the only one that you have as of now. So if you have any question, please ask. Amit, you can, but I'm not going into any inbuilt function because you should be having knowledge of how those inbuilt functions are working. Why use n minus 1? Nihal, arrays are 0 based index. So if the length of the array is 5, this index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I say the last index is always n minus 1? So you just need to start from the last index, right, Nihal? Java has dot add. Okay. Cool. अमित मैं आ रहा हूँ इस पे. मैंने पढ़ा है वो पार्ट. कभी तुम देखोगे 2 पॉइंटर भी लग नहीं रहा है. मैं आ रहा हूँ. रुक जाओ. ठीक है. Once can you write your full code? Okay. Why we use s of j? So Shrey says, why we use s of I? Sorry, why we use s of I? Can I say Shrey, s is an array? S is an array, Shrey? Oh, sorry. Shrey, s is an array. What will be s of I? S of I will be one element of the array, like E, like L, and you push that into the new array, right? So that's why we access s of I. अपूर्वा, अभी मैंने टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी पढ़ाई नहीं है. तुम्हें उसके बारे में जानने की जरूरत नहीं है. तुम्हें उसकी केयर करने की जरूरत नहीं है. मैं आगे पढ़ाऊंगा तो तुम्हें आ जाएगा. टेंशन नॉट. ओके. Why answer is empty? Aditya, because initially we do not have anything that we have reversed, right? We are iterating one by one on every element. Then whatever element we are at, we are then pushing it in the array. That's why I started with an empty array. You can start with an array of n length with all undefined also. That also can work for you. Make sense, Aditya? N to 0, n to n minus 1. Shubham, I didn't get your question. Okay. Cool. Now there is a small problem with our approach. There is a small problem with our approach. Okay. What is the small problem? Let's start talking about it. Just give me a second. Okay, cool. Now the problem expects one thing from us. What the problem expects, this is a good solution. This is a good solution. But we can improve our solution. This is a brute force solution. But now the question occurs is, can we improve? Can we improve? Yes, we can improve. The problem with this approach is that you are taking a new array altogether, and inside that new array, you are actually pushing your elements. Taking a new array means you are taking extra memory. Think about with respect to your mobile phones. If there is an application which takes a lot of RAM, your phone will start hanging, right? And you do not like those kind of applications. Can I say that? And you do not like those kind of applications. So our code, if possible, should not use extra space. Can I say that, guys? This extra array is going to be extra load on the memory. If possible, we should try to avoid it. We should try to avoid it. Can I say that? How can we avoid it? So this is the improvement. We are taking an extra space in memory because of the A. Because of the A. I would say because of the answer A. We can avoid it. Right? So we should avoid any kind of, I would say, extra resource usage as much as possible. This is where two-pointer approach will come handy. So let's say you have an array like this, HELLO. Okay. Now, what you can do is, you can prepare a variable I equals to 0 and j equals to n minus 1. You can put I here and you can put j here. You might be thinking, why I'm putting both of them at the final two ends? Because just think about it. If you have hello as the input, can I say in the output, H and O have replaced themselves? The positions have been swapped. H, O here, O, H here. Can I say that? So the first element and the last element are swapped in the answer. Can you observe that? Can you observe that? So the first element is actually playing with the last element, right? Then, can you see this E with this L? This L comes here, this E goes here. Second element plays with the second last element and so on. So that's why I'm keeping both the pointers at two different ends because both the ends play with each other. And what do I say is that, how about you swap these two elements? That means you have H here, you put O here, and you put H here, right? Kind of like swapping two variables. You can swap these two values as well, right? And once you have swapped, can I say this much part of the array has been reversed? This much part of the array has been reversed. This much part is left. So what we will do? I will move I to +1 and j to -1. Can I say that? And again, I will swap the two variables or two values. E comes here, L comes here, E goes here. Can I say now this much part of the array is reversed? We do I ++, j -, both of them point at the same element. So even if you swap, it remains as it is here. Then I do I ++, j -. And now can I say this, the moment I and j crosses each other, this whole array has been reversed. Yes or no? So moral of the story is that the range 0 to I represents a left region. The range j to n -1 represents the right region. Okay, and these regions are already reversed. Already reversed. What you have to care about is from I plus 1 to j minus 1. That is the middle region. The middle region you have to care about. This region needs to be reversed. Can I say that? Okay, this region needs to be reversed. Okay, so let's take a bigger example. Okay, let's say we take SANKET. Okay, let's say we want to reverse this array. How can I do that? How can I do that? Let's take the same example again. Okay, let's take the same approach again. What did I say? Start I from one end. So I will say I equals to 0. Start I from here. And j is equals to n minus 1. That is j starts from here. N is the length of there. Here we have 6. Okay, and again, why we are doing at the both ends? Because if you see finally what happens, if this is the input, the two elements on the end are actually swapped. Then second element and the second last element is actually swapped. So we are playing with two approximately cross apart elements. So it makes sense to actually put the pointers here. And then we are going to repeat a task. What task we are going to repeat? We are going to again and again swap the elements and move I and j. So I will say while. I'll put some condition here. We'll talk about that condition. And what we have to do? We have to first of all swap. We have to first of all swap. How do you swap the elements? How do you swap the elements? You can make a temporary variable temp. You can say temp is equals to s of I. So what is s of I? S of I is the string s. Okay. So can you see in the temp variable you have actually added s. Then s of I is equals to s of j. What is s of j? It is t. So we'll replace it with a t here. So this becomes a t. Okay. And now can you see this is also t, this is also t, but this should be s. Where can I get this s from? From the temp variable. So I'll say s of j is equals to temp. So you can say this temp variable is kind of like a backup. This is kind of like a backup for s of I because the moment you put the value of s of j here, that value will be vanished. So in order to keep the backup, we store it inside the temp variable altogether. Okay. And this is the steps of swapping. This is simple swapping, right? So if you have to swap any two values, you can do something like this. This is swapping. And once you have done, can I say t, like last step is putting s here. Okay. Can I say t and s have actually swapped each other? That means this much part of the array and this much part of the array is already reversed. Can I say that? Okay. So what do? You move I ahead because now I need to cover this part. This green part I need to cover. So I do I plus plus and I do j minus minus. The moment I do that, can I say we have to repeat the process again? We have to repeat the process again, right? Also, one thing, FYI, you can do the swapping of two elements without taking the third variable temp. It's a simple trick, right? You can add them up and then subtract them up. Like there are small tricks, but that is not going to affect the efficiency of the algorithm. So you don't need to bang your head there. You need to first of all focus on two pointers. That's the agenda. Okay. So just FYI, I told. So now let's do the same thing. Let's again swap. So I will say temp is equals to s of I. So what is s of I pointing? A. S of I is equals to s of j. What is s of j? S of j is E. And then s of j is equals to temp. This becomes A. Can I say that? And again, can you see? This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I say from 0 to I, everything is reversed? 0 to I is the left region. This is the left region. Everything is reversed. J to n minus 1, everything is reversed. And in between is something that you have to work. Can I say that? See, that's what I wrote, right? 0 to I is left region. J to n minus 1 is right region. This is already reversed. And this region we have to now reverse later. So the moment you swap, then you do I plus plus, J minus minus. Same thing again. I plus plus, J minus minus. Again, you are going to swap them. So temp is going to take a variable n or value n. Then s of j is equals to s of I. That means this becomes k. And then temp is equals to s of j. Sorry, s of j is equals to temp. So this becomes n. Right? So you can see now this much part is reversed, this much part is also reversed. And then you do I plus plus, j minus minus. Can I say the moment I and j crosses each other, the moment I and j swaps or crosses each other, at this point of time, the whole given input is reversed. So can I say that the moment they cross each other, the value of I becomes greater than j. So that means till what time do you want to run the loop? Till the time the value of I is less than or equal to j. Till the time the value of I is less than or equal to j, we will keep on swapping and keep on incrementing, decrementing. The moment I becomes greater than j, this condition will be false and the loop will terminate. And that's the agenda for us. Right? That's how we can actually code this solution. Right? In this approach, you can see I am not taking an extra array in order to solve this particular question. Make sense, everyone? Is this approach making sense now? Is this approach making sense now? I mean, guys, to do the same thing, there can be multiple approaches. Whatever works for you, works for you. Don't worry. So, Amit, even what you are saying is okay. Okay, guys, what's the benefit in this approach? You are not putting extra load on the memory. You always like those kind of apps, right? Which do not put extra load on your mobile's memory, right? Should we like code it? Should we like code it? Everyone. Kunal has a very fair point. But sir, here you are taking an extra variable. Yes, Kunal. Think about how big the array can be. The array can be as big as 10 raised to the power 5. Taking one extra variable or taking a one extra 10 raised to the power 5 length array, which is more expensive in memory. First thing. Second thing. Here, if you see, let's say in the previous approach also, if I see this previous approach, how many iterations this for loop was going, Kunal? N iterations. How many instructions were there? 1, 2, and 3. 3 to 4 instructions. So 3 into n iterations probably you were doing it. If you carefully see, here, how many iterations we are doing? We are doing n by 2 iterations. And in every iteration I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 instructions and one more 6. I have 6 instructions. So this is also approximately 3 only. So the number of instructions are more or less same. You optimized on the space. Make sense? तनिष्क पुश का तुम अल्टरनेटिव खुद से नहीं लिख पाओगे तो वो इंटरनल फंक्शन तुम्हें यूज करना पड़ेगा ठीक है पुश अल्टरनेटिव खुद से लिखने के लिए तुम्हें कोई एरे खुद से बनानी पड़ेगी बना सकते हैं मैं बना दूंगा कोई एरे खुद से बना सकते हैं बट दैट वोंट वर्क फॉर यू how you decide while is going to perfect fix not for Apurva same question can be solved with while also same question can be solved with for also I can even code this in front of you and show you that both of the things work okay got it Mohammed if you have tricks you can use but the question is that the trick that you are using the interviewer should also be known for that trick right if the interviewer doesn't know that trick that doesn't matter Swapnil my code is not working as expected what is the issue that you are getting So yes, Swapnil, that will not work as expected. I'll show you. I told you. There's one more line written in the question that you have to do this by modifying the input array. If you are using another array, then LeetCode also doesn't accept that solution. Are you able to get this point? So that's the problem. So LeetCode is saying, do not use another array. Okay, cool. Let's try to code this solution, guys. Let's try to code this solution. So whatever I wrote, I'll just code it as it is. I'll say let n is equals to s dot length. Let I equals to 0. Let j is equals to n minus 1. I'll say while I is less than or equal to j. Let temp is equals to s of I. S of I is equals to s of j. S of j is equals to temp. This is the part of swapping. Swapping the values. Once you have swapped the values, then what do? You move to the next positions. How do you do that? You do by I plus plus, j minus minus. And that's it. And that's it. You can see you do not need to return anything. So we have already modified s, so you do not need to return anything. If I run the code, you can see accepted. If I submit, you can see accepted. Right? This is working absolutely great. Right? So this is the solution for our problem number 344, reverse string. Yes, Rupam, you can also do that. When we know how many times the loop will run, then we should use for and when. We don't know, then we should use while. Rahul, I don't think that's the correct thing. Guys, just FYI. I'll change it to for. Okay, I'll change it to for. And let's write it like this. Still the solution will work. Can you see? For and while I have no difference at all. ब्लू पेन से पेपर लिख के आओ, ब्लैक पेन से पेपर लिख के आओ, आंसर से लिखोगे तो नंबर दोनों में मिल जाते हैं. Okay, cool. So I'll copy this and put it on my VS Code so that you guys also have it. New folder, reverse a string, new file, solution.js. Let's get the link. Copy. I'm pasting it so that you guys also have all of the codes available with you. Okay, let me push this much part. Okay, so if you refresh, if you go to arrays, now you have to sum and reverse string. Make sense?